Chris came talking to me a few weeks ago and talked about big data. But he also asked me please don't go into too much detail because we would like to get an understanding about the bigger picture and how we are seeing this. So this is the way I was thinking about how to approach it, about talking about the big buzzword that is data, and then going through a bit more detail about how I'm seeing it and how I picture it in the industry currently and how we can apply that currently with my clients. As Chris just said, I'm an alumni. I graduated in October 2013, and I'm currently working in a company called ORM London. This is our offices, where I work as a senior strategist and product owner. So I've been working with quite a big range of clients. So currently I'm focusing especially for train companies. My biggest client at the moment is Arriva. Arriva is a big group, a German group that actually own different train companies, and I'm working with them to actually build a new booking flow. So booking ticket plus personalizing the experience. So we have loads of data coming from professional fields ticket types, etc. But then also moving towards something more around managing the customer, being more personalized, and making sure that we're displaying the right information to the right people. So let's break down data. So big data is quite a funny word because a few years ago it just became this massive thing that everyone needs data. I used to have a friend, the last company I used to work for, they used to be the head of data, and he asked us what is data worth? Just data. I said it's good to have plenty of data, but at the end of the day, if you just have data, they're just numbers, words, and if you don't actually try to analyze them, it means nothing. But the question I have for you guys is why is data now such a big thing, compared to a few years ago? Why?
Because of digital?
Digital, yeah. In terms of there's plenty everywhere. So we leave breadcrumbs everywhere. It's also cheap. It's really easy now to buy data, buy databases, or just find different information across the web. But also the thing that triggered everything is that now we are actually able to make sense of it. Because if you're trying to buy a car, for me it doesn't matter to me if you are vegetarian or not. It is data. I can apply a report, I can buy this information, but it doesn't affect me. But if, for example, I'm trying to sell cars and I just want to know the different people that are around 32 years old, are this specific social class, and earn that much salary to potentially be able to buy my car, this is where this become actionable. And this is why data is not such a big thing, because we're able to make sense of it and actually make money out of it. And when I was saying that we leave information everywhere, I went yesterday on Facebook and Google and I asked them to give me all the data they have about me. So you can do that on Facebook, Google. So on Facebook, it took them 14 minutes to generate a report of 171 meg. There's almost 2,000 items, and I found all my likes, all my status, all my pictures, all the topic I like, all the. This is going to be more scary. This is what Facebook think I would be interested in terms of advertising, and all my conversation. I crashed my computer as well. And but what was also quite interesting is that I tried to get that from Google. Google has been there much longer. I've been collecting for loads of stuff YouTube consumption, just searches, everything. And it took them 4 hours to generate almost 11 gig. And my computer wasn't strong enough to actually open the file itself. So I still don't know how much stuff they have on me. If we keep talking about scary information, through Facebook, these are all the advertisers that have my contact details. And when I saw that, I was okay, interesting. So you have interesting thing Crystal Jade Singapore, I've never been to Singapore before. You have, Maurice Sushi, UAE, like tons of stuff that I have no clue about, and it's mainly through like logging in with an application, Facebook applications, like all these are being given. And the worst with all of that is that unless I contact them one by one, I make a request and maybe allocate it with remove my information, I don't have control of it. But trying to like explain to you guys like how we can try to make sense of data and how see basically like how we can link these breadcrumbs with something that's actionable, that's what I design like a journey. So think about Bruno as someone that is about, let's say 29, he want to buy a TV, okay? He lives in London, he want to buy a TV. So Bruno just one day decided, oh, like I'd like to buy a TV. So we went on comparator website, look at different like information. Then he went on Facebook and asked his friends, like, oh, like guys, like, oh, like, do you have any like recommendations? And as he was doing this, talking to his friend, commenting, Sarah, I saw a Facebook ad on the side with a TV in it. Interesting. Clicks on it, ends up on a website. And a few days later, I got an email with lots of offers about TVs, especially. He clicks on the email, go on the website, he ends up buying a TV online. Okay? Normal journey. Like, do you think that at this stage, Bruno has been influenced, like forced to buy a TV at any point? Because he decided to go on the computer himself. He went on different platforms, he asked his friends, he went on different website, he got an email, and then he just bought it himself. What's interesting is that if you look at from a business point of view, so for example, I'm Curious PC World. I'm marketing manager, like, okay, I want to sell TVs now. So I'm targeting specifically people that are around like 28 to 30 years old that want to buy that type of TV especially. So like, I'm asking this database that is part of this comparator website, and that database says, oh, as someone has been on the website, here's the user ID, and he seems to be interested in like TVs and stuff like that. And based on all the like browsing he's been doing as part of like a group of the databases, we think he matches the range of the age of people you're looking for. Okay, at this stage, I don't know who that person is. I just have a number. Okay. And as part of like the whole like new like programmatic, like they are able to now tell me like when specifically like a specific demographic is looking at like a different page, they're able to put an ad on it. So it's called programmatic. And what happens is Facebook basically has these different spaces. They're like, okay, we have this space available. Who wants to buy it? And me, I'm curious. Well, like, okay, I actually really want to talk to Bruno and try to sell him TVs. So I'm bidding on it. So this is why it's interesting because like what happens is that different brands are saying that I'm willing to pay that much money, and it's the one with the highest bid that actually like get the spot. We are lucky because Curious PC won the bid. So the Facebook ad that Bruno saw is Curious PC World. However, at this stage, the only thing I know is I don't know anything. I know that Bruno. I just have an ID number at that stage, and he clicked on it and went on the website. And we are really lucky, also to make the example a bit like better. Bruno has been already on the website. He logged in already because he bought a camera like 3 months ago. But we are still able to know that the account that logged in is linked to this IP address. They're linked to this user ID. So now everything makes sense. So now at this stage, we know that that demographic that wants to buy a TV, has done all this thing, and we know that it's Bruno. We have his surname, we have his email address, we have his address, we have all the purchase history he's had, we have loads of stuff like. So like now we're like, okay, now we have him, he's in the corner, we're gonna really like attack him to actually selling the TV. And a few days later, the email we sent is Curious PC World, obviously, with specific, just looking at TVs, because we know that Bruno really wants to buy that TV. And if you click on the email, you're gonna come on the website, and the website should be fully personalized to just focus on trying to move him to the funnel and make him buy that TV. And this is why at the end of the day, Bruno bought the TV, and we got really lucky on that. But you could think like this is the end, like he's done with that TV and stuff. No, because now we know that because he bought that TV, he might be later like interested in buying like a gaming console, speakers, I don't know, Blu-ray players, laptops, stuff like that. And this is like the whole circle again and again and again, because we start collecting. And the whole point of like data at this stage is like making sure that the bid we placed here, the purchasing the data is actually making sense for us to actually maximize the value we can get out of Bruno as such. It's quite scary, isn't it? Yeah. But like the big question I always have, like regarding this, is that yes, it's really scary, and you feel really watched, and the whole concept of internet being free is that you actually pay by just like giving away your data, like allowing Google to actually trace what you're doing. I find this scary, but I don't necessarily think myself that's that's a bad thing. I actually see this as a good thing, because like if you think about it, like a few years ago, the way that marketing used to work, and the way we used to like deal with like online promotions, that we just needed to have like loads of like information everywhere, banners. You have the big era of like banners everywhere, or like spam, loads of emails everywhere. But this like 99% of this email didn't make any sense to me, because what they were doing is like we're just gonna send it to like everyone, and out of like the 3 million emails we sent, 200 are going to reply, and we're gonna make a sale out of it, and that was worth it because the cost was much lower. At this stage, like for Bruno, I'd rather Bruno having 5 emails that actually match what he's looking for, rather than 3,000 where they're just gonna be lost. And I was talking to one of my colleagues yesterday at work, and he was a bit shocked by that. I was like, yeah, but like it's this, you have two ways of saying this. You have the evil way in terms of like we are just trying to sell something to someone that maybe doesn't need that much. Like maybe like the TV boys know like he could have bought something cheaper or something that was more reasonable for like what he was actually initially looking for. Or you can see this as a way to enable someone to match, like find like the offer to match the demand, sort of, and trying to do that like in a clever way that at the end of the day annoys Bruno much less, because he has much less emails and much less interactions to actually get what he actually wanted to do in the first place. Because at the end of the day, we didn't got Bruno with that, we didn't force him to buy anything. We just found an insight and we worked on it to make it happen. This is what we did. Do you guys have any questions about this?
I do, actually.
Yep.
Between the stage where Curry's PC World realizes that he's been there before, and then they send him a personal message, is there like some sort of program that will automated send that message, or is there somebody like on Google Analytics?
No, it's automated. Like you have different ways. Like this is where it gets interesting, because we are the world, like the digital world, is currently done in where most of the companies are working in silos. So you're gonna have someone that's focusing on the website, someone is focusing on emailing, someone is focusing on in-store, etc. And the way that all of this is moving right now is moving towards a way that they're going to try to move everything together and try to get all this action and all that data in one single place. And we're going to talk about that later. Just to make sure that we stop doing the same thing twice within the same company. So for example, imagine like if we were just focusing on the website, the first time I will actually see Bruno would be here. So before that, like I have no clue about his intent or anything. But maybe like the team that is working in media and working in a pay-per-click already have like loads of insights about Bruno. Or is it the the team that is working for emailing or CRM, you have loads of them. But at this stage, maybe like I don't know anything about it. So we're moving to a way that if we can collect all the data and have what we call single customer view, which is a view like within the company that knows everything about Bruno, that everything we've been collecting, it's become more interesting for the company to actually be able to automate stuff much easily. Because it won't be like, oh Sam, here's a nice prospect, this for your website. Everything is gonna go through that database and automate everything. Because like, for example, like there was something interesting that happened to me last year, is that I was trying to subscribe for a new broadband. And I went on Virgin website, I looked at the deals, I was okay, I think I'm gonna get this one. And but I wasn't really like in the hurry or anything. I was okay, I'm gonna go for a lunch break. So I went for lunch break, I went back and I got an email from Virgin saying that, oh, looks like you're interested for that project, for that specific product. Here's 50 quid off. I was like, yeah, it's good because for me that was good because I was already like ready to buy it. But like for them, they know that when you're on that page and you're ready to like purchase that thing, the click to actually make you do that is really simple. And for them, just giving me like 50 quid is like, yeah, it's nothing for them, just a trigger. And the whole thing was automated because they know like they saw my journey for the website, they saw like I ended up that product, they saw how much time I spent on that page, looking at the details, and that made me the right prospect for them to actually actionate that and do the extra push to make me do this.
So does that mean that it's always a good idea to have lunch before?
Do that. Do that. Yeah, yeah.
Before
No.
you actually make a purchase.
That's why I saw this quite like. It's really interesting to when you browse and try to shop. The way they try to make you the last move. Yeah. For stuff like broadband, like definitely go because try to go to like really like competitive like markets. Broadband, for example, or clothing. Loads of stuff in clothing, but there's so many like interesting like techniques happening right now. Like for example, you have more and more like at the moment like on lots of like shopping websites, they develop lots of like lists or items that you're not going to purchase necessarily, but like, you're gonna like them. So like, oh, I like that, and then they're gonna come to you like a few days later. Oh, by the way, Pierre, we have like 10 quid off of this shirt that you liked 3 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, buying it, and that's how I bought my shoes actually. But yeah, no, there's lots of ways to actually play with this, and lunch break. With something. So now I'm going to talk to you about personalization. So I got lucky because my team asked me to start developing our thinking beyond personalization for one of the train companies we've been working for, and just so you guys know, this is a moment just on the stage of concept. This is not live. I don't have any approval from my client yet. But this is the way that we want to be ready to go step by step. Something that is important to know is that you can't, unless like you are maybe like a startup, and even though I'm not entirely sure about this, reaching personalization is really, really hard. Like the top of it is really, really hard because this is such like an interesting topic and something that everyone is really excited about. But the main issue is that when everyone is excited about, like the devs, the intelligence team, the analytics, the designers, the UXers, nothing actually gets done because everyone is, oh, I want to do this. I want like people like because they live in this specific area. So like the first thing I done here was more like, okay, we are going to try to reach something that is like artificial intelligence based. We are trying to push information specifically designed for specific users, but to get there first, we need to sort out the basics first. And this is why like we are coming with a way that is, we got sort of phase one that is just simply rules. We're gonna see how it works, and based on like if it works, we're gonna move to the next phase that is more like explicit, as we call implicit, and omnichannel, etc. And step by step. And that's something like that's one of the key learnings I've been having since I've been started working is you can't do the big thing first. And because the biggest risk is that maybe we're going to do this and it's going to cost lots of money and it's not going to work, and end of the day you're going to have lost 3 million because this is not working. But let's do this first. There's like 200,000. And if it works, make loads of money, client is happy, you move to the next phase, and you move to the next phase, and you learn. If it doesn't work, you try again, and then once it works, you move to the next phase, step by step. In like the digital jargon, we call that minimal viable product. So you start with a like the smallest thing you can do that can work. And if it works, you just improve it to reach the point where you make it something that is really, really cool. So so the first step we wanted to do was about start playing with the home page. And for a training company, the home page is so important for them that it's really, really hard to start playing with it, because they are really scared that you will break the conversion rate and make them stop making money. For a website like Great Western Railway, they make about slightly more than 150 million a year. So if basically you improve through your experience the conversion rate by 1% or 2%, yeah, you're gonna make a bit more than 3 extra million a year, which is not too bad. But yeah, let's start with this. So what we've been saying is that we try to introduce personalization with them, and we said, okay, the simplest thing we can do, like to personalize the home page, is just look at the geolocation of the IP address. And that's something that is really easy. This is something that is free, or almost free. And we're thinking this is the way to actually move forward and start providing personal messages. And when we talk about trends, specifically, location is such an important thing that it's not like you're trying to sell a shirt that can be sold like anywhere in the UK, because here you're trying to sell specific journeys. So we started targeting London to Bath, London to Bristol, London to Cardiff, because we wanted, we picked these 3 cities, like Bath, Bristol, Cardiff, because they are they're part of the top 3 cities generating the most revenue out of all of this. And it was more like in terms of the question of okay, they generate more revenue, they have more users, then it will be easier for us to do the test and see if it works or not. So what we've done was quite simple, actually, is that we updated this. We just put an image that refers to Bath, and we selected a specific journey and added the smallest price they could actually provide. Something for here, something for here. And basically what's going to happen is, this is going to happen for London specifically, but if, for example, you're in Bath, we would have the same message switched. It would be like London to Bath, London to Bristol, etc. I think actually I have it here. Yes. So Bristol to London, 50 quid. Bath to London, 14.50. And what's happening is that only the people in Bath will be able to see this. Only the people in Bristol will be able to see this, because if, for example, you live in Cardiff and you see Bristol to London, I live in Cardiff. I'm not interested. And that was the issue we pointed at them, because before the way they used to display it is that there was one banner for everyone, and there was journeys that didn't make sense to much of the people. And so this is like the first way of doing this. The second way, coming back to this first. The way it worked, and the way we are trying to make this through is that, we came up with the hypothesis saying that, okay, we're thinking that geolocation is important for the customer, and therefore if we send a specific message, there'd be more appeal to actually click on the offer. We do a test, we create a brief, we display, so we're currently here, and we test it. And if it works, we're gonna keep doing that, plus move to the next phase. And measure impact, always try to learn on that. Phase 2. So phase 2 is a bit, it's quite easy actually. It's that we're gonna try to play more with the customer that we already know. So based on your purchase history, your age, all the demographics, we're gonna then start updating different areas of the website based on who you are. So if, for example, we know that you have like, how do we call it, a little gold card, or like if we retired basically, and we know that you are much more keen on traveling, but they are a big market for us. Therefore, the next time you're going to end up on the website, we're going to start showing you messages about simple like retired people traveling together, because it doesn't make any sense to show like, yeah, people that you don't necessarily relate to. Just focus on like making it more like, oh, actually, I really fancy this. So like changing the imagery, showing you specific deals, including the red card discount as part of the price already from the home page. Just because, and this is simply thanks to all the information we already got from you, all the past bookings, or the age you provided, all the stuff like that. And yeah, and the way we collect this is very simple. Is that as part of the UI account, we also start asking you questions like reasons for traveling, or mini business, leisure, friends, etc., and just asking information. Ryanair starting playing with a bit like this technique about 2 years ago. When you were looking at the account, you could get like points by just answering questions, and they were asking you, okay, how old are you? Oh, that age. Oh, how often do you travel? That time. Where do you like to go? There. And the more like, and they started collecting loads of like behavioral questions linked specifically to the users. So that was good for them in terms of like understanding the overall pool of customers and prospects, but also they got much better than trying to target specific users, because they knew that you like going to Spain during the summer and you are that age and you like to go with friends. So we're gonna send you a deal for our 4 people going to Barcelona, for example. And this is all thanks to data you get. And this is where like we can come back to the question I asked before, like, is it good or is it bad? But like at the same time here, what they help you to do is they're just enabling the purchase. And they're trying to make something that is more convenient for you and just matches even more what you're trying to get from them. And yeah, for example, yes, if we know, for example, that you like to travel business, we can try to push first class, etc. The phase 3 is a dip further than that. It's about implicit personalization. So this is about gathering insights from information and data that you haven't explicitly provided, but you are providing to us thanks to your browsing and the way you behave. Most of the CMS or content management systems now are including their own set of analytics and also their set of like managing the database. So when I was talking about you guys about the single customer view, this is an example of one. So the idea here is that if I connect to the database and I got lucky because I know that this specific user ID is this name. This is Bruno again over here. This is all the data I can get out of them. And this is like a simplistic version of this. So I'm able to know that through time, how many times Bruno has been on the website, how many pages he's visited. And also, thanks to that, I got algorithm telling me like, okay, because he's been on the first class page, he mainly browses during like working hours, barely like during the weekends. We think this profile is more tend to be on business. So therefore, I know that if I need to send specific messages about, upgrading to first class or anything related to more like business traveling, I should try to target him because he might respond better to this. And then we also like know better in terms of like, okay, so we know that he's more into these specific destinations, thanks to the booking history or the pages visited. Therefore, I should target this message. And this is where I'm hoping it gets really, really interesting, because if we use that not only for the website, but like for the overall company, we're able to move to the next phase. This is this one, where we are not just managing data from a digital silo. We are using data to enable like all the different points of the company, how the way we actually do business. So if you actually like are on the app on your phone, boom, it's linked. Because these days we could necessarily think that the app is always connected to a phone. No, it's not. Usually, like as part of the big organization, they give away the apps or stuff like that to different companies than just the website because it's like pitch and it's money related. It's not necessarily the best because the best way for it to make it work, in my opinion, is that when you have like a single like digital ecosystem that works together to either feed data but also like use it in a better way across all the different website. To probably come back, I forgot about this thing here. Yeah, coming back in terms of like explaining this, the implicit personalization. Yeah, as I said, business traveler, you saw this little like co-shared ad. So it's an offer right here, and you went on the first class page. If we are clever enough to actually gather all this information and tie that to the profile that was right here, next time you connect actually on the app, for example, if you try to book something, as part of what we call the confirmation, we can try to be like, oh, by the way, there's an offer for you. And this thing here is only shown to Bruno because he went on it before. And then we start, trying to get better at this. But like maybe like next time it will be, okay, so we know that you're actually really interested in like business class, and I think you are ready to actually like upgrade, or upgrade if you haven't done that already. It would be like, okay, here, try to get that train, but yeah, you can get 10%, like 10 quid off, like 10 quid on us if you were to first class because you were like a loyal customer, and straight from here. But this price, this offer will only be available to Bruno because we just send him specific message because he's ready enough, in our point of view, to actually upgrade and make slightly more money from that. Any questions on this? Good. What's next? So this is also like quite interesting in terms of data and seeing how like more and more like they're getting involved in the way we browse and the way like the companies are working and doing business. I found like this quite like different articles and different elements for the last few days. I had a friend of mine, she signed up for Vitality, and they gave her like this Apple Watch, and what's happening is that they fluctuate the price of the insurance every month based on how much workout she does. So if you actually like stay fit and you walk and you do like a specific number of steps like this setup, you're gonna pay a lower price. If you stop doing that, you're gonna pay more. Initially I was thinking, oh, that's quite cool. That's quite nice. But what's happening? So the thing that annoys me a bit with this is that, okay, so they know your name, they know like loads of stuff because it's insurance related, but now they start also like collecting your health data. And what stops them from one day potentially like change their terms and conditions and be able to sell this to someone else? Like something stupid, they start collecting data of people that actually are now working like really hard and dunking donuts by them and try to sell you donuts because you don't work that much. Or the opposite, you do much more sports and then you're gonna have like Nike trying to sell you a new pair of shoes. And it's not only based on your demographic because like they know that you run and you walk, etc. So it start becoming like another level of like data collection. Is provide what you have. And that's the same thing here. Like we have Apple that's developed ResearchKit and CareKit. Same thing here. Like, is it good or bad? I don't know, because ResearchKit is about gathering even more data to help clinical trials get better at identifying new problems or finding new solutions about diabetes, like running, anything, loads of like different things. They collect that data for like loads of stuff, and you might know it's possible you don't know, but maybe your iPhone is already collecting that data and sending it without knowing because one day you just went through your settings. Oh yeah, it's fine. Okay. but they've been collecting everything in the back. You don't know. Check it. But that's the same thing. Like that's an extra level of like information they're starting collecting here because it is linked to your data, like your health, which is something really like that could feel really like personal as such. Something here, like when we talk about data, for example, like the US border, I know has decided that if for foreign travelers, they need to give away their Facebook logins because they want to be able to check it. I personally don't have anything to hide on my Facebook, so that's totally fine. But that's an extra way of like getting to like the privacy. And what's like? Where will you stop? And this is the most recent thing I saw that is quite interesting. It's about artificial intelligence because I haven't talked that much about it today. Where the New York Times is trying to moderate the comment section of the website thanks to AI. Because at the moment, for example, if you are on the New York Times and you start insulting people and swearing, etc., it's someone that literally goes through the comments and be like, oh no, it's not good, remove it, or manage reporting you. But now they're moving to a stage where they're trying to empower artificial intelligence to do that automatically. So thanks to the words you're gonna write, like this sentence feels like 65% rude. Therefore, we're gonna point that to someone that decide then to remove or not remove it. But it's not just by if you just say like a swearing words on the comment, then automatically will be rejected. It's more like because even if you write it in really really nice English, Shakespeare, all that way, the AI is able to understand that this is attacking someone, making threats or something like that. And I looked at it, I tried it, and it's quite interesting. But like the next step behind it is that this is not managed by a human person. So when right here we're starting also like giving away the freedom of speech to like a computer that's going to decide if what you're trying to say is worth yes or no, like saying, and put it online. And at the moment, it's still like moderated by human in the back. Like, that's another thing. What's the next step? And when is it going to stop? And don't get me wrong though, like I found this as scary as I find it exciting. Like I would say I'm a pro data person, so I found this really interesting. And if I can pay my insurance much less, why not? But we need to keep in mind that it can work well this way. We need to keep in mind that the laws are not there yet, not all of them, to protect the consumers. And maybe they will change in the future that suddenly lots of information you've been like sharing for years and years will be then displayed and people will be able to buy it for a cheap price to sell you, shoes, something like that. Or, yes, sharing your Facebook data, like going to privacy, like looking at a conversation, like if suddenly like, anyone can read them or buy this information, that could become an issue. Or, like I'm a big fan of AI, so I find this really interesting, but at the same time, even though that's really exciting, we need to keep in mind, like, where is the limit? And where's the limit in terms of the fact that we're trying to enable something becomes evil, sort of, and we're trying to go too far in terms of trying to improve it, but at the same time decide to restrict ourselves. And this is where the topic gets really interesting. But we're lucky because we're not there yet. Like the way I'm working with companies, you have like loads of like startups doing like amazing things around like using the data in a much brilliant way to actually like empower people. You have like this great this student from Harvard, I think recently he just created a form that allows homeless people to actually apply for a job by just like adding their names or something like that. Like they don't have to go through like loads of stuff like that. Or like using AI to help people in need to find job more easily or something like that. So there's like loads of like really positive ways of actually doing this, but most of the big companies at the moment are just realizing that data is actually sexy, as I said before, and they start to enable like the different departments to work together and start like providing this. So when I was talking about personalization and talking about this here, this could potentially arrive in next year, I think. Having this, when we start having like all the channels working together, that's maybe another year, because you have lots of politics and lots of stuff like that. But like the tech is there already, and this is where it's really interesting, because the whole concept of data is, as I said, is cheap, is there, and the only thing we can do now is try to make the most sense possible out of it. And the best way we can do it is to start now, sort out the basics, as I said, and then move forward, try to make it better and better. Okay? Do you guys have any questions?
What do you think, where are we now in terms of the kind of evolution of all of this stuff? You're dealing with that train company.
Yeah.
And I guess the simple version of the question is, you're dealing and working with a company that gets and understands and is excited about data, and is prepared to spend a lot of money on people like you doing clever things with it. Are all train companies sort of equally, so sort of, are we at the beginning?
Yes. I think it's I think it's based on the different industries.
So who gets it? Who's really ahead of the curve?
In terms of like personalization as such, like using data to like enable purchase, or like the clothing industry is really good. There's been an example that is from like 3 years ago where they were personalizing the homepage based on the weather where you were actually when you were browsing the website. So if you're in London, it's raining, they're gonna try to sell you like raining coats and something like that. That's clever. And at the time, it's really basic to do. Like, okay, pick the geolocation, we know that user is here. Oh, let's go on like this API and get the weather. Oh, it's raining, therefore show that message. And that's really easy to do. But now we're moving to where we are trying to personalize that more and more and more and more. And lots of companies are trying to do that, but that's big. That's a big job to do, and there needs a lot of thinking. And at the same time, we're still trying to show like the return on investment out of this. And the thing that we know is that for like most of the businesses, showing this return on investment might feel really weak right now. But it's more getting to know that if we don't start now, next year or year next, when Amazon will be attacking your industry or Google will be trying to sell train tickets, you're going to be like 3 years behind because they're going to be there already ready to push for stuff. If you think about data even more, when was that? Was it on Friday that Amazon bought Whole Foods? Like, Amazon is going to, like, in my opinion, for example, you take the talk about personalization. Amazon is on the top in terms of like retailing, in terms of personalization. And if you go, every time I go on the website, I saw new stuff, like new buttons that change the colors, or new homepage, new wireframes, stuff like that. Because the way they do it is like trying to like optimize, and also try to send messages that's like are very valuable to you. And Amazon at the moment is trying to extend the range of businesses, and they introduced about, I think it was last year, they're like Amazon shops where you can get in and there's no counters. So you just get in with your app, they know you're getting in, they can check what item you pick in the basket, and you go without going like through the till, and they know what you bought and will be taken from your account. And then suddenly they say they go like Whole Food for like 13 billion or something, which means like, okay, so the supermarket industry, for example, has been really weak and not really pushing for personalization or like using that data or like getting way too big on this. Like the only way they used to use data was more on CRM and Tesco cards or Nectar cards, stuff like that. But no, it's like the place as such. And yeah, I think there's going to be like a massive like shift on supermarkets like in the next few years. But like it feels always the same thing. It's an industry where nothing is currently happening. Like most of the processes have been the same for like 20 years. And you have someone that arrives and breaks everything. And this is the thing that, like, at the moment, like the train companies are really scared of is that Google 3 years ago released their tool to book flights. So now you can search. If you go on Google, just put like London to Barcelona, they won't like. The first thing you're gonna see, like the ads because this is how they make money. But then you have see this big component, like, okay, where do you want to go? You click on it, and then it's gonna find you like different flights, and Google's gonna make the cut out of this. At the moment, it doesn't work for trains, and they're lucky for that. But like once Google start playing with this, because like 99% of the traffic is coming from like in some sort of Google, like search or like advertising. If Google decides to like actually take a cut out of this, the whole industry is going to have to like push themselves to actually like get faster at this.
So do you think that most industries are really waiting for somebody to come along and disrupt them before they actually?
No, I think this is where like the whole overall like it's more like becomes like a business politics kind of thing. Because most of the big heads of this company is going to be like, no, it's fine. We've been dealing with this industry for like 70 years. We know what to do. It's all okay. And you have someone that actually like is like a digital manager. They're like, hey guys, like now we can do this, and it's going to be big. Oh, okay. Now they start like considering that person as someone more and more important because they start feeling that digital is getting more and more involved with like what we're doing. But in my opinion, they like most of the different industries have been working on, they're not pushing enough. Because the way they still see it is like, yeah, we still have shareholders that ask us to make that much money, that much profit, and they struggle to actually like make them understand that they need to invest that many $1 million or pounds or anything on that specific like new ecosystem. Because at the moment this is not making money, but like in 5 years that we make sure that the company is still here. And think about blockbusters. Like you talk about like I don't know 10 years ago, blockbusters and Netflix were just like renting DVDs, and the whole tape and DVDs industry. Either you go to a shop or you just mail them, etc. Netflix starting understanding the value of digital and get better of like using that data to like target their customers. Blockbusters didn't, and they were like, no, we think people will still like to actually be able to touch it and put it in a DVD and send it back and wait for 3 days for another one and watch another movie. And Netflix went all in trying to like create their platform on the side of still like renting physical DVDs, but like, okay, let's try to get a platform and go on VOD. And yeah, Blockbuster like shut down because they lost, like they missed the jump to digital. Such they missed the jump to using data, and that's for data is going to be exactly the same thing. If the companies are going to keep showing one message to everyone and just try to just spam our mailboxes with like untargeted messages, are going to lose it because they won't be as valuable as us. Like at the moment, like we move to a way that customers are valuing the time they spend on a website, and so many times I'm browsing, and within seconds I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going through that. because if the search is bad, I can't find what I'm actually looking for, and just like the overall like design itself doesn't feel. I can't really trust that website. But if I go somewhere and I see like tack, 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 okay, purchase done, I'm good. You look about the flight industry. Ryanair is really pushing to like beat EasyJet, because EasyJet was the first website flights that used personalization, and it was simple. It was like the first thing I showed you guys, like London to Barcelona, London to Berlin, just like location-based stuff. And they did that, and they saw like their sale exploding, like increasing by like 50%. They really wiped out Ryanair out of this. And the CEO of Ryanair literally said, "Yeah, we missed it." And the time for them to catch up made them feel like really, really weak. Now they got it, and they are really pushing to like improve the overall experience and using personalization. They've been the first flight company to start introducing the equivalent of like one-click buy. So now when you're looking for Ryanair, there's this little toggle. You can click on it if you're connected, and you just pick your flight, the price, and you booked, check in, done. And that's another step. Like they're really trying to push for it. But like that's the thing. If you don't think about it now, and these big companies don't realize that how data is going to be meaningful for them in the future, in any ways. Like this is where it gets so interesting, because like you can apply that to so many things. It's not about just selling stuff. It's about if you like fashion, for example, it's about determining like what is the next thing that's going to be interesting for customers next year. Also like getting insight out of this, because like data to sell is almost like half, if even less, what we can do out of this. Because the biggest thing we are trying to do usually is just like optimize and try to understand the next trend, to just be ahead of like your competition, but also ahead of the customers, so that we are ready to receive them. And this is just like the way, like all of this is so interesting. And we see where also this whole industry is really buzzing at the moment. Does that answer your question? Cool. Any other questions? Sweet.
Okay. Pierre, thank you very much.